The last international break is over and it's just us, the Premier League, and a chance to win $10,000 from here on out. Hey there, what's going on, fellas? Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode where we're, of course, talking Premier League. So what does that mean? It's over on the NBC Sports Predictor app where we can win $10,000 for match week number 29 if we can correctly predict this week in the Premier League. They give you 6 games. You know it by now. You got to give them the right result and correct score for all 6 games to go ahead and take home that $10,000. That sounds pretty goddamn tough, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, how about come take my $25 that I give away every single week to the winner of the Winning Bets League? All you need to do is join the league and then have the most points at the end of each match week, and you can take home my $25. If you need that league information, you can go ahead and get it down in the video description. Let's take a look and see who won last week. It looks like it was ASA with 22 points. They got that correct score in that Brentford versus Leicester game, and then they got 3 other results and accumulating those 22 points. So another fantastic entry. Don't forget to hit me up on Twitter. Drop me your PayPal information, and I'll go ahead and send you that $25. As for everybody else, maybe this is your week to go ahead and take my $25. We all start off with 0 points. I wish you good luck. As you guys know by now, we like to go ahead and look back at the previous week and kind of see what happened, but boy, was that awfully a long time ago because of that international break. So instead of doing that, we'll do something a little bit different where we'll go ahead and just kind of throw up the current table and get a look at what that looks like. And as you guys can see right there, Arsenal's still up on top. They've been up on top all season long. You can see that they've got an 8-point gap, but they've got a game, extra play than Manchester City. So if we assume City is going to win the game like they win most games, you're really just talking about a 5-point advantage, but that's still pretty good, right? There is one head-to-head remaining between City and Arsenal. It's going to be played at the Etihad, so that'll certainly much be a massive game. I'm not sure when that takes place, but that's going to be a massive game. That's going to be a game that City has to win, and then they'll need another spot where they'll need Arsenal to, have a loss one weekend where then they can take advantage of that. So that's going to be a fascinating, I think, title race going hopefully up until the end. And then obviously the top 4 is going to be really good as well. I think you've got United, well, you say in a strong position. I mean, look at Newcastle right there in 5th spot. They're only 3 points behind. They're level on games. They've got the good 2-game advantage over Tottenham. So that's why you think Manchester United is sitting good. Obviously, they're in impressive form, both domestically and European competition. So you like to think United's going to snatch up that 3rd spot. And then what's going to happen with that 4th spot? You can see Tottenham's right there, but they're kind of a little bit of a head case right now. Conte is coming out slamming everybody in his press conference leading up to the international break, so you don't know how they're going to respond coming out of that. So that's a little bit to be determined. Newcastle, they've kind of had a dip in form, but maybe they've kind of bounced back and maybe they've been able to right the ship. And then Liverpool, they've been on a nice uptick. And they've now exited from the Champions League. Their sole focus is on the Premier League and getting that top 4 spot. And then Brighton and Brentford, I don't think they can be dismissed either, as they're sitting above 40 points so far on this campaign, and they've been awfully strong all season long, especially Brighton, both home and away. So I wouldn't count Brighton out as well. So it should be a fascinating. We know the top 6 spots get a spot. Top 4 go to Champions League. 5th spot goes to Europa League, and 6th spot goes to the Europa Conference League. So the highly coveted Europa Conference League. So still a lot to be played for right there. And obviously flip it onto the bottom of the table. That's what makes, I think, the European soccer really just so much more intriguing than, here domestically where we live in America, those sports, right, is the relegation battle. And look at that right there between West Ham and Southampton are in the drop zone. Nobody's surprised that Bournemouth joins those 2 clubs, but West Ham and Southampton, 2 teams that are perennial Premier League teams, they're in the Premier League every year. Whoa, they're looking like they could go down. If they don't go down, you're looking like Leicester that could go down. Hell, they won the Premier League a handful of years ago, and since then they've been Premier League staples. They've generally been certainly a top 10 team, and sometimes even competing for Europe. So wow, to see them struggling is really baffling. Nottingham, they're going to get pulled right back down into it, and that's no big surprise. They're obviously a newbie in their own right. And then Everton, and then Leeds and Wolves. So boy, it's an awfully tight in the bottom here. Really, really tight. I mean, we were kind of talking about how, like, if Everton got a good result not too long ago, like how it could really upset the table. That could happen every week. The table at that bottom could be, it could be ever changing. So that's just going to be a very, very fascinating watching, especially with big boy clubs. Like there was Bournemouth down there. If it was Forest and, like, let's say Leeds, okay, whatever. I mean, two of those three teams, and even Leeds is not like a perennial Premier League team, but you're talking West Ham and Southampton. Whoa. Oh, boy, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in this race towards the end of the season. All right, so that's what the table looks like. Let's go ahead now and make sure we do jump on into this contest. Let's go ahead and throw up the games. We're, of course, starting off with Arsenal taking on Leeds, and Arsenal are on a mission. We just showed you the table in first place, several points in hand. It's just on a mission. I mean, absolutely on a mission. But Leeds can cause problems. Leeds have been able to do that all season long. While they may be in 14th place and they're not comfortable and they do have the threat of relegation, I feel like their play was going to keep them up because they score enough goals. That's what they do. They're going to cause you enough problems. High tempo, high pressing. They're going to, get some goals. They just are too goddamn leaky. You know what I mean? And Arsenal being clear above the rest in first place is really going to be able to take advantage of this Leeds team and really just how leaky they are. Arsenal comes in winners of 6 in a row. Number 1 the table in the season. Number 1 the table last 6. Number 1 the table last 10. Yeah, you get the story. Arsenal's awfully goddamn good, and they deserve to be number 1 so far this season. So I like Arsenal winning the game, but I do think Leeds can score a goal. That's just how good they've kind of been this season. So go ahead and give me an Arsenal win, and I think it'll be an Arsenal. It's going to be an Arsenal 3-1. I've got Arsenal winning the match 3-1. So that's how I've got going on. Arsenal 3-1. All right, let's go ahead and turn our attention now to Crystal Palace. They're taking on Leicester. Boy, battle of bad right here. I mean, Palace may be in 12th place, which is what you see here on your screen, but they're god-awful. Obviously, they've just fired their manager, Vieira, there before the international break, so they're going through a little bit of change. They've now hired their permanent manager, Ralph Hodgins. He's going to come back into a relegation fight and actually come back to Crystal Palace, whereas he already has been a manager before at Crystal Palace. So he'll be comfortable. He knows how to fight off a relegation fight, so I think they'll be fine. But boy, are they awfully bad. They haven't won a game since December 31st. Yeah, that's why they got their manager sacked. They haven't won since December 31st. Leicester, they're in 17 points, 1 point above the drop. They haven't won in their last 6, 5 losses, 1 draw. Leicester is god-awful. They're just, you look at their roster, and it's like Vardy and Tielemans and Madison. It's just not happening. I mean, from an offensive standpoint, it's really not happening. Form for the last 6, these teams are 17th and 19th. These teams are about as bad as it gets right now on current form, Caesar form. Palace, they've only scored 2 goals in their last 6. Leicester scored 6. Both teams have scored, though. If you look at this head-to-head, both teams have scored hitting 4 of the last 5, where you've seen 3 draws and 2 Leicester wins in that. So you're seeing, okay, both teams score, but Leicester can have the upper hand in this head-to-head. But I'm going to think it's going to be a draw. They're 17th and 19th on current form in the table. I don't see much separation between these two teams, and at Selhurst Park, I think they can grind out a result. So I still go ahead and do the 1-1. Why aren't these showing up on the screen properly? Hold on. There you go. 1-1. 1-1. 1-1. So that's how we'll go ahead and do it right there. 1-1. 1-1. All right. 1-1. All right. Let's flip it over now. Here, what's this next game we got here? Brighton taking on Brentford. This is 7th versus 8th, and we just showed that table. Brentford may not be competing for European football, but Brighton, boy, how awfully strong have they been? I think they are. Brentford, here's the deal with Brentford. We've kind of talked about them home and away. Their home and away splits are awfully dramatic. 43 goals scored on the season. That's pretty damn good. But only 15 on the road. Only 15 on the road. Meanwhile, Brighton, they've conceded 31 goals on the season, but only 11 at home. So you've got a strong home side in Brighton versus a Brentford side that is significantly weaker on the road. And you go look at the stats. It's not just goals scored. It's XG, all of it. Obviously chances created, all of it. Brentford's just not as good on the road. Under 2.5 goals is hit in the last 3 head-to-heads. Something to think about right there. Last 3 head-to-heads, I've seen both teams to score no hits. So while you're getting under 2.5 to hit, you're also getting both teams to score no hits. Whoever can kind of jump out to that lead, they're able to hold it out and get a nice clean sheet win. Look, if one of these two teams can get out to a win, keep a clean sheet, yeah, you're going to take the team that's better at home against a team that's poorer on the road. Okay, that's a no-brainer to me. Go ahead and give me a Brighton 2-0 win. Give me a Brighton 2-0 win. That checks off both teams have scored no, checks off under 2.5, things that have been hitting, stats-wise, trends-wise. That's a no-brainer play, Brighton 2-0. All right, next one here is Chelsea taking on Aston Villa. Big game, obviously, for Chelsea because you want to continue your bounce back, that you've had. You've had a nice little bounce back. Also, you're gearing up for Champions League midweek against Real Madrid. So just a big game coming off an international break. You don't want to really just don't want to have a setback. And they did have a setback going into their international break. Remember they allowed Everton to get that late equalizer, so they drew 2-2. come on. This one's at Stamford Bridge. You should be able to beat Aston Villa. And then you're getting a boost because N'Golo Kante is back. I don't know how much of you guys saw during the international break, but he obviously is not involved in the French national team. He just hasn't been playing and got awful so long because of his hamstring injury. But he played with Chelsea's under 21s during the international break. He will feature in this game. How much are you going to get of N'Golo Kante? I don't know. I think he's probably going to be a sub. Maybe he comes on at halftime. Maybe he comes on at minute 60. Or hell, maybe they were proud with what he did in that under 21 match and he could go from the start and maybe go 70, 80 minutes. I don't know, but you're going to get Kante back, which is just absolutely massive. Everybody knows what Kante means. One of the better CDMs in all football. So that's just going to be a big boost right there. Chelsea had won 3 of the last 4 head-to-heads. The one that they didn't win was a draw. So obviously had the better, advantage in this head-to-head. 2 of those 3 wins came via the clean sheet too. So keep that in mind. 2 of the 3 wins have come via the clean sheet. If you get Kante back, you like a clean sheet a little bit more. Villa's going to be tough, but I'm going to trust Chelsea's turnaround. It's just been quite remarkable what they've been able to do. Obviously, Champions League against Dortmund, and then domestically here in the Premier League, they've had a nice turnaround. I think that continues. I'm going to go ahead and give Chelsea the win, and I think they do keep it via clean sheet like they did in 2 of those last 3 head-to-head wins. I'm also going to give them a 2-0 win. So 2-0 win for me for the Blues at Stamford Bridge. All right, the next one here is West Ham versus Southampton. When we previewed the table, a couple minutes ago, this is a relegation fight. And just unbelievable to say West Ham and Southampton are a relegation fight, but that's where we're at. Goal differential, this shows why these teams are in a relegation fight. West Ham is 24-34. That means you've scored 24 goals and you've conceded 34. For Southampton, it's 23-46. So they're both scoring about the same, which is not much. They're not even averaging 1 goal per game. But Southampton's obviously been a lot poor on the defensive side. So this would suggest a low-scoring low-scoring West Ham win. Is what I'm thinking, and it's at West Ham, so you like that a little bit more. The last 5 Premier League head-to-heads have seen 3 draws and 1 win for each. I think just because this game's at West Ham, I'll go ahead and give the advantage, but not a lot of separation between these 2 clubs, and because there's not a lot of separation, this is obviously not going to be a blowout. It's going to be a 1-0 win. A 1-0 win there for West Ham. Let's go ahead and show the last game there. We're taking Newcastle, taking on Manchester United, where they're facing each other now for the 3rd time this season. They've already hooked up once in the Premier League. It was a 0-0 draw. And then obviously they met in the EFL Cup final there, where United was able to run out to a 2-0 win. So, and obviously lift a trophy right there. So the last 7 head-to-heads have seen 0 Newcastle wins. The last time Newcastle got a win was 1-0 at home in 2019. At home. At St. James Park. Could they maybe get the win against Man United? Newcastle with the league best, only 19 goals conceded. That smells like low scoring. You've already seen under 2.5 goals hit in both of the fixtures this season. I think it remains low scoring, but I think United can pull out the win on the road, just like they've kind of been dominating this head-to-head, and they're the better team. I mean, they're just on fire right now is Manchester United. So I think they pull out a 1-0 win. Nothing sexy, but just a good classic. Get the 3 points on the road and grind out, what'll end up being a really good result. So that's how I see this week in the Premier League shaping out. All right, so that's how I'm personally going to go ahead and do it this week in the Premier League. Hey, drop in a comment. Let me know what some of your predictions are. Tell me if I'm way off my rocker and I got to change one of these things, because I want to win that $10,000 just like you do. So let me know what you guys are cooking up there in the comment section. Otherwise, guys, I, of course, want to wish you guys good luck on your bets. Enjoy this week in the Premier League, and we'll look forward to seeing you back here next week. Have a good one. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.